Hello and welcome to another episode of UK Crossover, your UK-based Philadelphia 76ers podcast. We are now less than a week away from the start of the NBA season, kicking off our season at the Boston Garden against our rivals, the Boston Celtics. Now, if I open up that season with the Celtics any other time of the year, any other season prior to this, would probably be pretty worried. But like the dumb sports fans we are, there is a shroud of optimism surrounding this. So to hopefully talk me down a bit and to calm me down in preparation for this season, we have, as always, have Sam Oakley. So hello, Sam. How are you feeling?
I'm like you, Ben. I'm good. I'm good. I'm looking forward to the new season. I can't believe that we could potentially have a week of no other sports team, and it's all eyes are going to be on Philadelphia 76ers.
It's horrific, isn't it? So the Phillies, unfortunately, have made their way out of the playoff scene, which is a shame. No one wanted to see that. Phillies, of course, on their bye week. And like you said, all eyes are on the Sixers. And therefore, starting off brilliantly against the Celtics, like I said, our arch rivals, is hugely imperative. But also making sure the fans see something where, like, okay, this team can do something this year. This isn't going to be another damp squib. So we'll start and just jump straight into that Celtics team. Look, this is the team that last year were the title favorites. Of course, they didn't quite go the whole distance. They lost to the Knicks in the second round due to a couple injuries, as well as the Knicks being good. You've got to give them their credit. Yeah, before that, they won the title. But this isn't the same Boston Celtics. Look, we love beating the Celtics, but if we're being real, they're kind of our bogey team. They kind of have had our number for a number of years now. This is a game where, on paper, we should be favourites. Would I be right in saying that?
If the rumors are true and Embiid is healthy, then I think that's 100% correct. Yeah, it should be. Even though they've seen another rumor that Paul George is out or going to miss the first game, I think if Joel plays, you've got to be the favourites, right? So yeah, I assume the line opens up as us favourites. Let's have a quick look. That's always
My
a good
first
test.
bet 365 flutter.
Yeah, this is it. Vegas knows more information than us. I swear they get the injury reports before we do. Oh, I had it up then. But yes, we should be. And it's unfortunate that it's the fact that it's because yeah, we are 3-point favourites. It is the fact that obviously Tatum's injured that gives us that favouritism, but we take that.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at my team because we're both you and I have been doing our fantasy basketball team. So I was doing a bit of research just to make sure I know who's starting for each team. And it got to that Celtics team. Like, you have a backcourt of Derek White, definitely one of Pritchard or Simons, decent players. Jaylen Brown at the 3, and then it got to the 4 and the 5, and I'm like, oh, hang on, that's not good. It was Sam Hauser and Luka Garza or Cater, one of those at the 5. That's not going to cut it. That's not good enough. Celtic fans know it's not good enough. Likewise, if Joel Embiid is going up against one of those two centers, he is going to eat. So my real thoughts is, as long as you're not playing the occasion, as we've said, we should win that game. The likes of Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, they always seem to have a field day against us.
Yeah.
To be quite frank, a lot of Celtics tend to have a field day against us. But if you could take the crowd out of that game early, go on a bit of a run, get Embiid some of his shots to fall early, if you have a couple top of the key threes and a few middies, then I really think that we could start the season strongly. It'll be interesting to see what tonight looks like in our preseason game against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Is he going to have a two-man game with VJ or indeed Tyrese? I mean, is that going to develop even more? So I think that game's actually come really nicely for us, but it can go in the complete opposite direction if it doesn't land. Because following that, we got the Hornets, we got the Magic, we got a few sort of banana skin games, as it were. So starting off on the Thursday night in the Garden, starting off with a win is imperative. So we've had a couple preseason games. We've lost all of them. We always sort of think that it's not so much the result, it's what have we picked up on, what have we seen. I don't need to be too concerned about the results, do I?
No, I think the scrimmage was more important than the preseason
Mm.
games. Getting to see
Yeah,
that
it's
and
a great
seeing
show.
the actual sort of plays that they were trying to run, trying to entertain the crowd, and I think the general vibes that's been more important for me than the preseason results. You know, seeing on social media that Drummond playing a prank on was it Bono taking his wheel or his rim away from his car and Joel laughing, Joel looking skinnier. Um,
He is, isn't he? I did. Yeah, that's a really good shout. He's looking very lean.
that's more important than the preseason. I remember when we went. I think we won like three. I think we went 3-1 or 4-1 one preseason, like during the end of or the third year into the process era or something like that. Won a summer league, and we thought this could be an exciting young team, and end up filtering off and not actually doing anything. So for me, it's not. I don't pay attention to the results. I think it's all about the vibes and is Joel going to play this season? It looks like he will be. Even if he only gets 5 minutes tonight, better than what I thought because I thought he was never going to play again or he was going to struggle to be fit before Christmas. So
Yeah, yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head, and I think they're sort of that. It's a really hard one to actually gauge because ultimately I'm talking about something in quite abstract, ambiguous. Um, it's the vibe around the team. I didn't expect Embiid and George to be back for the first week, and now George isn't going to be back. But by the sound of things, he could be back as early as the second or third week, which I think is a real big plus. I know the jury is still out for him, and Joel is back by the sound of things. He is just back. I know none of us expected that. So something's done. I'm not sure if maybe we're changing how we're doing PR. I'm not sure if maybe our injury team is actually doing their jobs for once. But it just feels a lot nicer around the place. McCain, we had a bit of it's doom and gloom, but he's actually not that far off being back as well. So all
no,
of a sudden, when we thought initially, we'd never actually see this team fully fit, it's not far off. We could probably see this team fully fit with all of those guys end of this month.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean McCain's the biggest worry, I suppose, for me because obviously it's a fresh injury and you do get a little bit concerned. But with Paul George, I expect him to have little niggles and miss the odd thing here and there. So McCain's the one that I would like. I worry about. So I'm happy for him to take a little bit longer for his recovery. He's young enough and he's going to be okay. But yeah, it'd be nice to have all those back, and actually, I feel quite good about our lineup and the fact we could go with three guards and in certain games, and we've got VJ Grimes and Maxi that can play there. Because obviously, last time we spoke, we didn't even know what was going on with Grimes, so we
Yeah, and
even
we
signed
do need to
him.
chat about him. Mm. So let's talk about Quentin Grimes. Now, I think there's been a bit of false equivalency in the sense of some people have said, well, if we just signed Quentin Grimes to this at the start of the year, then we could have got Yabusele. It's like, well, no, we couldn't. The reason we got Quentin Grimes for this now is because we had to hold out until this time. It's a shame we don't have Yabusele. I'm still gutted because that feels like that's the missing piece. It really feels like that is just what we need right now. But thing is, we don't have him. Tough. But we got him. We got him over the line. I believe it's like 6.7 mil for 1 year. Yeah, we may extend it. We may not. By the time it might get to this time next year, and we're like, well, actually, VJ's better than you. We don't need you anymore. See you later. So we'll just have to see on that front. But that, it's a good acquisition. It's fine. Might not be the depth in the power forward role that we wanted, but it's a very very good pickup, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not his biggest fan in the sense of how he can be at times, because he apparently wanted something like 20 million over a couple of years guaranteed. It was just like you're not that type of player. You got into a role last year where it kind of fell nicely for you in a contract year to be able to be the ball handler, take 20 odd shots a game. But that's not going to happen for you, hopefully, this year because we're going to have the other guys free and available to play. So, but I like the contract. It gives him a chance to do that. He's going to have the odd game where he will shoot loads, and if he gets hot, he is a good, solid player. So,
Mm.
yeah, I'm quite excited by it. And like you say, Yabusele, it was gutting watching him, play against us in Dubai games. But it is what it is. we had to make sacrifices, and I think the way that the league is in 2025, and it has been for the last several years, it's guard or small forward and guard play. It's not about your power forwards and your centers really. So going for higher depth that in positions where you can have it, that makes more sense, especially in Nick Nurse's
Mm.
system. So I can't complain.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm not saying Barlow's better than him, far from it, but I'm saying he's looked good. We've looked good at the four. Watford's a good acquisition. Barlow's
Hmm.
looked good. Broom's had his moments, and even now we're flirting with this idea of a Twin Towers esque front court with Embiid and Bona. So we've got some fun little ideas that we can try and figure out. Whether or not they work remains to be seen, because it's all one thing doing it in the preseason and in summer league, or doing it in those sort of games where it's against other end of the bench players. But you can only play who's in front of you, and thus far it's been quite promising. And so we're going to have to see. And one thing I did find interesting was it was one of Nick Nurse's comments after one of the games, like, we want to be more of a passing team. Um, is that obtainable? Is that a target that we could associate with this team?
Well, I mean, the other man on my shirt that I've got, Bryce Harper loves to do hero ball. Joel Embiid loves to do hero ball, and that's the things that can let Joel down. As much as I love him, he can sometimes get hero ball and decide that he's going to dribble up the court himself and shoot or whatever. So as long as he does that role correctly and he does do the pick and roll, the stuff he did during the peak, when before Ben Simmons mentally got bad, he was a good player for us, and him and Embiid
Yeah,
worked fairly well, and even Harden
yeah.
and Embiid at times. So if he can be like that at the best of what we saw of that on a more consistent basis next year, then yeah, I think we could do. But it's purely down to how Joel wants to be. If we're losing by 12, 14, 15 points in the later third or a fourth quarter, is Joel going to turn into hero ball? And if he doesn't and continues that passing, then I think we'd be okay. But
Hmm.
it's purely down to
Well,
Joel.
yeah, I mean, I think my concern is, I think of, like, okay, well, if you want to do a bit more passing, you need a playmaker. Well, who's our best playmaker on this roster? It's probably Kyle Lowry, and that's not where we want to be. Look, I've got time for what he can offer in other aspects, but that's not it. That can't be the guy we're leaning on. And Tyrese Maxey, as we've said time and time again, he is a two guard that can play the one. No, he is not a one,
Hmm.
comparable to what AI was for us. So we're still looking for that point guard for me. But who knows? Maybe McCain can alleviate that pressure. Maybe he can evolve into something quite spectacular next to Maxi. So we'll just have to see. There's so many opportunities for people to come and flourish.
Hmm.
So the other sort of, and it was I was on a podcast last week with Brits Don't Jump and Nathan on there, and that was a really fantastic. He's also a Sixers fan. Fantastic chat we had, and we talked about, of all people, the collective of Drummond and Oubre, and it made me think. Sort of a question I wanted to put forward to you. Have we written them off a bit too early?
I think with Drummond, I don't think we have. I think last year we were begging for him to come. Obviously, me and you were definite advocates for it, but I think it's just Father Time has caught up with him. With Kelly Oubre, I think maybe not so much, but I think with Drummond, it's hard to say that you think he's going to be the Drummond he was when he was first here, or how he has been throughout the league in his time before last year. And I know he's had years where he's had a little bit. Generally, over the last 10 years, he's been a consistent backup. So and even like an MVP All Star one year. So
Hmm.
I just don't see it with him. Although, like I said, the vibe seems good. Maybe he's in a better mindset, because I think the whole of last year was kind of a write off. I don't think anyone
Yeah.
was really so. But I'm going to say Oubre no, Drummond yes. Where are you at with those two?
Maybe I'm having a bit of. I think the thing is with Oubre is that actually he was the only one that tried last year, and I think you have to commend that.
Hmm.
And Nathan made a good point. He was saying, if we could just get a Kelly Oubre who sits in the corner, shoots wide open threes, cuts to the rim, defends hard, fine. He can do all of that pretty
Mm-hmm.
well, actually. But if we get the person that sort of steps into a three off the dribble with 20 seconds left on the shot clock, that's the person we don't want, and that's the person I don't want playing for the Sixers, regardless of his effort. That's what loses us games, especially in the playoffs. Drummond, I find interesting because I still haven't seen a prolonged run of games where he is the backup center to Joel Embiid. Probably not since we had him in that season before last,
Mm-hmm.
and he was the best backup Embiid has had. So I'm only sort of hoping, I'm clinging on to this idea that actually, if Drummond could just return to that, then we've got a player on our hands. So I'm sort of giving them a bit of a chance, but it'll be a tight leash. And I'm noticing as well, KJ Martin, who obviously we had on the team last year, he's now been waived by the Jazz. And I'm thinking that could be just a decent person to fill a roster spot. It doesn't necessarily have to be one of theirs, but I'm saying, if there are players available like KJ that can
Mm-hmm.
probably do a better job, then they're going to have to start proving themselves, or they're going to be on the block.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think you're right. I think there's going to be this year a legit buyout market for us to get maybe that missing piece.
Mm.
Or maybe if we do go back for someone like KJ, he's someone that Morey likes, so I wouldn't be surprised if we went back in for someone like him. But yeah, I'm hoping this year is the year that we get the good buyouts again, like we did several years ago, when we got Ersan and we got a few other lads, and we had that shooting three team with Ben and Joel,
Bellinelli and
Ben and Eddie. Yeah,
Shari.
exactly. So can we get to that buyout market again where we're the attractive team to come and play for because we offer X, Y, and Z, and Nick Nurse has normally got quite a good friendly team for that type of athletic wing player, even if they're not great with the shooting and the dribbling. It's that athleticism that can make them shine in a team like that, or it should do.
And you were onto a good point. We haven't really been that destination team come the buyout market, have we? We've always been the team that some people just might as well go to, but never they're like, yeah, you know what, clearly I'm going to go here because I'm going to try and actually do something. And we need to try and be that. And that all starts from obviously next week onwards. So we talked about we have the Celtics. Then
Mm.
we are lined up against the then we are
Hornets.
lined up against the Hornets. Interesting team. I think they're going to be a fun team. Do you see the Hornets causing us too many issues?
Um, I'd like to think no. Um, but you are right. I mean, I do like Ball. I think he's a developing player. They've got some young talent. They've obviously not been great for the last couple of years, so they're building it up. But I'd like to think that we'll take care of that. We're going to be at home, right? So um, for me, I'd like to think that we'll take care of the Hornets. Yeah, let's go with a 10 point, yeah, double digit win against the Hornets. What are you
Okay,
going
so
for?
we have the Celtics Sixers. We're both going to win because we can't ever say Celtics are going to win.
Correct.
Um, we both think the Hornet will beat the Hornets. The
Hmm.
Magic on Monday night. We're still in Philly at the Xfinity Center or Xfinity Arena, whatever we call it
Yes,
nowadays.
yeah, got to get used to calling that. You go first.
It doesn't roll off the tongue. I think playing the laws of averages will probably lose. I think it'll be a tight game. If we were playing in Orlando, because we never play well in Orlando, I would say, yeah, definite loss. Because in Philly, we've got a chance, of course. But I think we'll lose. Just playing the laws of averages. We're both very high on the Magic. So I think they've got a lot of things that we don't have, particularly size in the backcourt, and I think that could kill us. Jalen Suggs on Maxi is going to be some battle, and I think that'll probably decide the game.
Yeah, I do like the Magic. Yeah, unfortunately, they are a team that I've kind of liked how they've developed and built their players. Is this a good time to talk about Magic and their fans right now? When they're
Yes. God, you're on it today. So for those who maybe aren't in the UK, I think most of us are, so you probably know what we're referring to here. There's been NBA UK game, which is great. Of course, we want to have NBA in the UK. And the game is the Magic versus the Grizzlies. I believe it is next January. The
Hmm.
O2 Arena in London, in Greenwich. Of course, we're not the only NBA UK page. There's NBA UK Knicks, Celtics, Lakers, Mavericks, and of course, there's the Magic. And the guys over at the Magic are excellent, excellent lads, aren't they? They're really, really lovely guys. And they put in so much legwork and so much effort into their page. I think they're probably one of the best UK pages, if not the best, as far as I'm concerned. They're
Yeah.
doing a great podcast, great interaction with their fans, loads of stuff going on. So in terms of actually, widening the support for the Magic in the UK, I would probably put a lot of credit on them.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, though, the prices are so astronomical that those people who have put all the legwork in the UK to get the Magic bigger aren't able to do that. And aren't able to attend. And I just think this is so indicative of the problems that happen in the NBA and with Adam Silver as commissioner. Because what Adam Silver sees as success is not how to grow the game as an actual, how do you grow passion for it and a love for the game? It is, how do I grow it financially so that I can make the most money? Because fine, the fellas from the Orlando Magic UK aren't going to be there, but Cole Palmer will probably be there. Bukayo Saka is probably going to be there. KSI is probably going to be there. And that's all that matters for them, really, is that so long as you've got these influence there, who cares? And it just feels like a bit of a shun of those who actually really, really have tried their utmost to try and grow the sport here.
Mm.
And then we've got prices around the $500,000 mark. I've seen tweets of people saying, me and my two young daughters, we've never seen the Magic play. We were so excited to finally have them on our shores. And as soon as I opened the sale basket, I've never been felt so crushed. That was one of the ones I read earlier today. And, this will probably never get heard by anyone who can make a serious difference, but it makes you question the sort of intentions of, those who are really setting these prices. What is your aim here?
Hmm.
Because when we have these, it's obviously because we love the sport, we love our teams and whatever else, and we want to grow it. And you're excluding those people who have been doing so much for your teams, so much for your brand, so much for your league, and you're slapping them around the face and saying, "Oh well, we don't need you. You're not important." When you think about the amount of effort and time and money they put into it, it's just horrific. I mean, I'm sure you've probably got your 2 cents as well to say, because this is one of those things which has certainly annoyed me, and I'm sure it would have annoyed you too.
Yeah, I think you've hit it on the head. It's pure greed. It's nothing more to NBA Europe and Adam Silver. There's not there, and I don't. I couldn't tell you who the main representative is of NBA Europe from a sort of promotion point of view. I could tell you Chase Utley is for the baseball and what they're doing with the MLB. MLB seem to be doing it quite right. People argue about the stadium. Was West Ham the right stadium? But I had a good day out.
Yeah, we had
And
a
the
great time,
pricing
didn't we?
wasn't and the pricing wasn't that bad. And I know it's differences more, but there's nothing they do. All they do is turn up, play, and go. And the Sixers have the same problem, and it's only because Ben won some tickets, as in Ben. Um, I don't want to kill his surname. I'll probably say it wrong, but Ben S. Got it.
The
And
Rangers fan, Russell
yeah,
Martin
the
lover.
Rangers fan. Yeah, Russell Martin's lover. And he gave us he got me a ticket and another friend, and it was just from a free competition that he saw on Twitter. But trying to get those tickets, even back then, it was like £280 for heaven tickets, and that was obviously 2018, something like that.
Yeah.
It's just not fair. And I could go, me and you, most of the time, you could find a midweek game for the Sixers, and fly out to Philadelphia and buy a ticket
Mm-hmm.
for the same price. Okay, you might have to get a hotel, but you could go to the actual Sixers game and be you could for the same price. You could actually be in America
Yeah.
for it. And for the tickets where you're near the front, they're like 800 quid or so. So again, you could get a hotel for 2 or 3 nights and a game ticket with a decent view and your flights for the same price as going to London. And it's just ridiculous. So I think it's bang out of order how the NBA have done it. They've increased league pass prices over the years, which I kind of accepted. But I think the whole thing is just a shambles, and it's taking it away from us fans that want to watch it, and like you say, trying to grow it here. So yeah.
Yeah, I just sort of feel, and just to finish, I don't want people to think, oh, this is such an entitled position. I think that's far from what we're saying. It's not that, oh, we watch it more, therefore we deserve the tickets. The point that we're trying to make is make it accessible.
Hmm.
If you want to have your front, however many rows, taken up by YouTube influencers and sports stars and people on the telly, fine, I get that. They do that over in the States too. It's nothing new. But make it so that that family of four that have
Hmm.
always supported the Orlando Magic or the Memphis Grizzlies and want to go to their first game as a family because they live in London can afford to do so and can spend, I don't know, $50, $60 a ticket. That's reasonable. They'll be in the nosebleeds, they'll be in the back, but that will be still an amazing experience. The
Hmm.
moment it gets, like you said, to a point where it is about the same price for me to fly over and buy tickets, then what's the point of even having this game here in the first place?
Yeah.
That defeats the point of it. It's about expansion and growing the game, not just having people take a selfie, put it on their Instagram story, then never engage with basketball again. Because unfortunately, that's what it's going to be. That's what it's going to be. So there's a bit of a run over sort of thing, but there has to be a real look in the mirror as to what actually do they want from these sorts of events, because this doesn't benefit anyone apart from lining the pockets of those who already have so much money.
Yeah.
Anyway, the final game we were going to talk about, we talked about the Magic. We've agreed that that will probably be, well, not probably be, that could well be a loss. Then we've got the Wizards. They've got some young
Yeah.
guys, Koulibaly, Alex Sarr, and they've also got some young, older heads. So the likes of CJ McCollum now and Chris Middleton. That should be a win. I don't think there's much to really talk about that. That should be a win. If we're in Washington, it still should be a win. And that would
Agreed.
hopefully mean that at the worst, we're going to be 2-2 after our first four.
Yeah.
Would you take that?
I think so. I think definitely, yeah. I wouldn't be upset with that. I think that's one of the best outcomes you could have with a team where you're not sure on if you're second best player and third best player or fourth best player, however you want to address McCain in that, will be out for those, tend to be out for those first 2 games. Like you say, Paul George might be back by then, but I could see George not playing. Probably just playing one of those games. So yeah, I'll take
Yeah.
500 at that point.
Yeah. So I think we could actually be in a really good position here just to really sort of launch ourselves off and hopefully have a really strong season. It's all going to be injury dependent, as we've discussed before. It's all going to be very much, how do our new guys settle in? Do we need to make some extra trades? Are there still some glaring weaknesses with regards to certain individuals? But we should actually have a pretty strong start here. We've made our predictions before. And I think we're not deviating from those.
Mm,
But there's a lot of reasons to be optimistic, which is a scary thought.
I know it's weird. Um, I thought the only positive was going to be the that they brought back the jerseys, but actually there could be a
How have
lot
we
more
not
to it.
talked about that? We need to we need to quickly chat about that. So this is unreal, the amount of merch they're bringing out. My bank
Mm.
account is going to take a beating like it's never had before. This is fantastic, isn't it? I mean, where do we even
There's
start? Have you ordered anything yet?
no, I mean, I love my Iverson one still fits me from all those years ago, but so I got it large, but well, medium, sorry, but obviously large for me back then as a 14-year-old, and that was 20 odd years ago. So it is probably on its way out. So I probably do need to get a new one, but yeah, it's good. This is where Adam Silver's smart, right? He's his team that he's hired to do all of this stuff is allowing that stuff, allowing this deal with Nike to create all this nostalgia stuff across the NBA. There's several teams that have got these type of jerseys that mean so much to the fan base, and they've
Yeah,
done ours
Utah
this year.
have one as well that they did, didn't they? The sort of purple mounted one. That's a really
Hmm.
nice one as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very much and the pricing isn't too bad, but like you say, it's still going to take a battering this year. I
Mm.
think at Christmas
Well, the
time.
jersey was like 90 quid, 100 quid. I was like, okay, fair enough. That's actually a pretty well priced, all things considered. But then there was that jacket that I was looking at, and I was like,
Oh,
170. I was like, make that make sense. Um, but I'll still try and find a way to get my hands on it. But yeah, that was a fantastic merch drop that's been released, and we are going to hopefully get our hands on that. So, guys, before we get packed away, just thought I'd let you know about one final really exciting announcement that we've got. So, we have got our inaugural PSI UK 76ers watch along. That is going to be down at Passy Avenue in Waterloo, and that is going to be on the 23rd of November to watch the Sixers take on the Miami Heat and a 6 p.m. tip-off on a Sunday evening. So, from my personal perspective, and it's sort of a personal plea, it will be absolutely fantastic to see as many of you as possible. Every sort of interaction, tweet, retweet, like, share, whatever, has been greatly appreciated when creating this, when doing this on the socials. And it'll be great to finally meet some of you guys in the flesh, because it feels so crazy that we talk with so many of you on almost daily now, and I haven't even met half of you. And it'll be so brilliant to be able to have that shared experience of having a couple of pints, having a couple of drinks, and watching the Sixers with one another. And Sam and I, we really appreciate everyone that comes on and interacts, lets us know that they listen to the pod, and it would just be a really great experience, I think, just to have that sort of shared moment. And this will be the first of many. I've already eyed up a couple of other dates that we've got later on in the year that are a bit more UK friendly in terms of the timing. So the better they are in the early stages, the more we can build off it, more we can learn from it, and make sure that these are consistent events that we want to keep doing. So I'd like to imagine that just the thought of having a few pints watching the basketball would be, enough of an enticement to want to come and watch. But if you want a bit more, we will be doing giveaways of our PSI exclusive whiskey with Loch Lomond, likewise our PSI exclusive gin. We will also be doing other giveaways related to merch, just trying to figure out what exactly that's going to entail just yet, but I promise you it's going to be good. And if after all of that is done and you've enjoyed watching the Sixers hopefully beat the Miami Heat, well, immediately after that, the Eagles are going to be beating the Dallas Cowboys. So it's going to be back-to-back Philly sports teams, starting with the Sixers, then on to the Eagles, going into the early hours of Monday morning, and it should be a fantastic evening. So as many of you as possible, will be emails getting sent out to our PSI members about how you can just express your interest. It, of course, will be free entry. We just want to be able to gauge interest, just so we know numbers, and then we can really make a good go of making this a night to remember. So thank you as always for listening in. Thank you as always for putting up with us. And we hope this is going to be a really exciting season. We are definitely going to be back very soon to review what is hopefully at least 2 wins after our discussion. And hopefully many more to come after that with no injuries. That's the big one, with no injuries. So, Sam, as always, thank you so much for coming on tonight. Where can the people find you if they need to find you on socials?
Yes, thanks again. Yes, I'm on Twitter, Sam UK Sixers fan, and obviously part of the lovely, as you've mentioned already, PSI group. So I'm in the WhatsApp groups for 3 of the teams, Sixers, Eagles, and Philly. So find me on those if you want to have a chat about any of those 3 teams. But obviously, it's Sixers season, so we want to talk all positive news about the Sixers. Ben, naturally, they can find you on PSI, obviously, but where else can they find you?
Yeah, at UK 76ers, and I do want to keep plugging that PSI Philly Sports International. And I think with the season coming, there is no better place to be if you're a Sixers fan based in the UK. Come join our WhatsApp groups. I think as well, and I'm not sure if this is just perhaps a bit of a, more of a feeling than anything quantifiable, but it feels like it's picking up in those chats. The anticipation is building. We're starting to put out some speculative sort of ideas. People are just getting excited. This is the best place to be, and you will be able to reap the rewards. We're giving away jerseys. We're going to have these meetups. Going to have these watch along. We just started our fantasy leagues just now. There's going to be multitude of different ways for you to win those goods, and we talked about it earlier in the podcast. The current merch is expensive. We're going to find ways to make that cheap for you. If you're a member of PSI, we will find multiple opportunities, competitions for you guys to win things to save you having to splash the cash. We're going to do that favor for you. So if you keep in touch with us, if you keep entering our competitions, entering our raffles, just getting involved in what we have to offer, then we will make sure that you get something out of it too. So it's a really great place to be. Really great platform to be. Super friendly guys on all 4 sports teams. I
Mm.
know some of us are sort of still wallowing in those Phillies chats, but it's still going strong. It's not just felt radio silent. If you need to vent, you can do that. So there is a place for every emotion. There is a place for every fan. So thank you all so much for listening. Thank you all for putting up with these long old breaks between the seasons. They do seem to last forever, but we are finally back, starting in just under a week's time at the Boston Garden. Let's go Sixers.
Let's go Sixers.